We're back to old times. Good morning. Okay, first of all, I was going to get ready this morning before I went live, but I Shane tricked me because he hasn't been here in 5 days and I haven't changed the clock on the stove. Well, I was busy this morning because Larry comes home from the nursing home today, and I was running around stocking his refrigerator with drinks and all this stuff. And I glanced at the clock and I said, "Oh, it's only 10 till 6 or 15 till 6. I got plenty of time." So I continued to do what I was doing. And then all of a sudden, Chris texted me and said, "Jackleg, where are you at?" And I was like, "Why is he saying that? It's literally, 20 till 6." And he was like, "Where are you at?" And I was like, "Oh, did Shane change the clock?" Yeah, Shane changed the clock on the stove. So it threw me behind. But let me grab I'm going to need vodka for this one. Boy, do I have a story for you. I planned this morning not to put on my makeup. I mean, beforehand. Because I told you guys with this new change, it puts more pressure on me because it takes away my morning Judy quiet time because now I'm having to get up, get ready, put on my makeup, do my hair before I go live. And so Julie Pappin's messaging me. It says Julie Mealy. Who the heck is that? I don't know Julie Pappin. Anyway, sorry. Um, it takes more. It takes away my quiet time. And the reason I chose to not put my makeup on in the mornings is because I thought it would attract more people. That's what I thought. I thought, well, a lot of, maybe men don't follow me because, I put on my makeup and they think when you glance at my video, you think I'm selling makeup. And so that's why I did what I did because I was trying to think business. That's what I was doing. I was trying to think because I told you guys I have been comparing myself to other channels for a while now, and it's really beat me up. It's been bad. When you compare yourself to other people, it's bad. And I will tell you, in the social media world, it is competitive. It's terrible. It is competitive. Like, for example, if you don't have a big following and you go follow a big channel, they're not following you back. They're not. But if they see that you have a blue check and that you have a big following, they'll follow you back. It's so cliquish. And so I was like, I don't want to be a clique. And as I have grown, the things that I hear from people is when such and such got big, they changed. They're not like they used to be. And I kept thinking in my head, oh my gosh, I never want to be that person. And here I am, changing my ways to please other people. And when you're a person that compares yourself to other people, on top of being a people pleaser, you're headed for disaster. Because what happens is when someone says something to you or they make a comment about something you do, you try to altercate your ways to please them because you're a people pleaser. When you have these two traits about you, which I do, yes, confetti everywhere because I have the traits of comparing myself to other people and being a people pleaser. You are a train wreck. But then let's add another equation. So you are comparing yourself to other people. on top of being a people pleaser, on top of serving God. And this is what your life looks like. You look like a crazy train, because what happens is you start comparing yourself, and then you beat yourself up. And then God comes in the picture and goes, "Why are you doing that?" And then you correct your behavior. And you're like, "Oh, I'm comparing myself to other people. I should be the only person I should be the only content no, the only creator I should be worrying about is my creator." And then I get humble. And then all of a sudden, a backup dancer or a person that follows me will make a comment, and then I'm like, "Oh, I got to please them." And then I start pleasing them, and I change my ways, and then God intervenes and goes, "What are you doing, Jackleg?" And then it's like I change. It's like a daily battle. But can I get an amen to everybody that's like me? It is hard being a people pleaser, wanting to make everyone happy, on top of comparing yourself to other people, on top of serving God as well. It's like they don't clash. And as you make adjustments in your life, it's like you're a yo-yo. It's like you change, you come back. You change, you come back, because you're all over the map. All right, I'm going to share a story with you, and I'm going to get ready this morning. So sit back, grab your popcorn, and let's start the story. This morning, I was on Facebook on my Judy Waniger Sneed page. And my old neighbor, that when I was married to Robbie, my old neighbor that lived across the street from me made a post. And it was a long post. And normally when a post is really, really long, I'm like, I ain't reading that. I ain't got time to read I don't have time to read a whole story. But what interests me was he had a picture of a man in a dress. And I was like, why is my neighbor posting this picture of a man in a dress? Like, what is he? And he's a very godly man. And the first thing, because you know how when you're scrolling through Facebook, you make a opinion right off the bat. It's like when you meet someone, the first impression is important. Like you usually can read somebody right off the bat. And so when I saw that, I was like, here we go. He's fixing to bash someone. I'll be honest with you, kind of like, I thought, oh my gosh, why do you care about what somebody wears? I mean, just let them be who they are. I don't know. That's how I felt in the beginning. But I decided to read the story. And I'm so glad that I did. So the story went a little something like this. His son walked into the room and asked him a question about doing good deeds. And so my neighbor, Nathan, I'll tell you his name, Nathan was explaining to his son that doing good deeds does not get you in the gates of heaven. Now, if you don't believe what I believe, just bear with me. I'm telling you a story. So he began to, and his son was like good deeds, like what? And so he began to say, like, feeding the homeless, or, helping an old lady across the street. Like, those are good deeds. Even though you're doing a good deed and it is pleasing to God that you're, doing a good deed, That's not what God is looking for, because it's not an exchange. It's not like God says, if you do this good deed, I'll have a relationship with you. It's not like a trade off. And I think a lot of people, will say, I'm a good person. I don't cuss, I don't drink, I don't lie, I do good deeds. Like, I'm very pleasing to the Lord. But he was explaining to his son, that's not the relationship that God wants. It's not an exchange. You don't do good deeds and God sends you through the gates of heaven. He was explaining about salvation. And so then my neighbor said, have we ever told you the story about the man in the dress at church? And his son, I think his son is 17 or 18. And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, let me share with you a story about the man in the dress at church. So they have been at the same church for, I'm going to say 20 years. Okay. And it's a fairly large church. It's a pretty big church in Alabaster. Anyway, so they were in church one day, and this man, that he was not fixed up like a woman. He looked like a man. He had long, scraggly hair, no makeup, no painted nails or anything like that. This was a long time ago. So this was before trends and all that became out in the open. This was like, I'm going to say 20 years ago. Okay. So it was not currently happening. And so the man came to church in a dress, but he was a man. Like, he didn't look like a woman. No painted nails, no feminine ways, just a man in a dress. But he had like long, scraggly hair. And so when my neighbor saw him, he was kind of going, why is that dude in a dress? And so he went on about his merry way. He did the probably nudge to the wife going, look at that guy, kind of like that. And when I first started reading the story, I was like, he is so judgmental. That's what I thought. Why does he care what that man has on? I get sensitive. Because I have a son that is gay, and I have watched judgment. My son, I'm not going to get into my son. My son, I don't need to get into it. So anyway, so like anytime, but this guy, let me stop. So anyway, let me stop that. So the next Sunday, they go to church, and here comes the man. Now he is pushing, he's in a dress, but he's pushing this lady in a wheelchair that, appears to be an older lady. So he didn't know if it was his mom, or whatever. Maybe he was being forced to church, I don't know. And so he felt like God was telling him to go talk to the guy in a dress. But my neighbor was like, I don't want to talk to the guy in the dress. I don't agree with him. I don't want to talk to him. And so the next Sunday, here comes the guy in the dress. And my neighbor felt like he should say something to the guy in the dress. And as I'm reading this post, I'm starting to feel kind of mad. I'm like, God, you're so judgmental. I mean, who cares? I mean, I don't, I, I mean, it does. Like, if I saw a guy in the dress in the public, it does, kind of go, why is he wearing a dress? But I've gotten where I try to stay in my own lane. Like, I don't understand it, and so when I was reading this, I felt kind of frustrated at my neighbor, but I kept reading. And you know how, like, when you read something that you don't agree with it, you're like thinking about your comeback, like what you're about to comment to say to them or whatever. It was like my brain was spinning. And so I kept reading. And so the next Sunday, he walked into the church. He saw the man with the dress, and he decided to speak to him. So he said, hello. And the guy did not speak back. And he said in his head, well, I did what God told me to do. I spoke to him and he didn't speak back. So I'm not speaking to him no more, because he didn't want to talk to him. And so he battled this for weeks. And so every time the guy would come in for church, he would speak to him. And the guy would not speak back. He just kept walking, like kind of, hey, and kept walking. But my neighbor kept on speaking to him every Sunday, even though he was getting nothing in return. He was getting, hey, and kept walking. And he began to battle this in his head, because he didn't say this, but this is how I took it. He thought God was telling him, I mean, when people say God is saying, go talk to him, this is what he means. If you're not a believer, this is what people believe that are Christians, is when something comes to your mind or something comes to your thought, a Christian believes that that is the Holy Spirit. Like, God is putting a thought in your head. And so sometimes God speaks to us through the Holy Spirit. Okay, so he was feeling led to talk to this guy in the dress. Now, my neighbor didn't say this, but I know my neighbor. I know my neighbor very well. And I'm thinking in my head that he believes that God, the Holy Spirit, is talking to him, telling him to go talk to him about wearing a dress. Like, you shouldn't do that in church. But my neighbor never said that. But I bet if I sat here and had a conversation and said, when you felt led to talk to the guy in the church, what were you thinking God wanted you to say? And I guarantee you, he would have said to tell that guy that he's wrong wearing a dress. But he couldn't have a conversation with this guy because the guy would not stop. He would just go, hey, and keep walking, because he didn't know my neighbor. Well, one day he was out after church, and they were out in the where you gather after church. I can't think of the word. Out in the lobby. And he felt a tap at his shoulder. And it was the guy in the dress. And he said, I need your help. And my neighbor said, what's wrong? And he said, I can't get Becky, is what he called her. I can't get Becky back in her wheelchair, because he takes Becky and puts her in the pew, and then he transfers her back to the wheelchair to leave. And he said, I need help. I can't get Becky back in the wheelchair. And he goes, sure, I'll go help you. And so, he helped Becky get back into the wheelchair. And he didn't just stop there, but he rolled Becky back to the car, and he helped Becky get into the car. And the man in the dress said, "Thank you." Well, my neighbor said he got to talking to him, and he found out that the lady and the man were neighbors. They both lived in government assisting houses, and Becky couldn't drive, but they were friends because they were neighbors. So Becky asked this guy to take her to church every day. And so out of the goodness of the heart, the man was taking Becky to church every day. And of course, he was staying with her to go to church. And so when my neighbor found that out, he then said, "If y'all ever need any help, let me know." And apparently they exchanged phone numbers. Well, the guy in the dress messaged my neighbor and said, "Will you pray for my mother? She's in the hospital." And Nathan, my neighbor, said, "Absolutely." So he began to pray for the guy in the dress. The guy in the dress had no name, I guess. He's just known as the guy in the dress. He began to start praying for his mom. Then he felt led to go to the hospital and visit her. And he really didn't want to go. But he did. And he texted the guy in the dress and said, "What room is your mom in? I'm going to come visit her." And he said, "Well, I'm here now." So my neighbor went to the hospital and began to go into the room and visit her. So when he walked into the room, the guy in the dress said, "Mom, this is my preacher." And my neighbor was like, "Preacher? I'm not a preacher. I'm not a preacher." But instead of correcting him, he said, "I guess I thought in my head, well, maybe he's just trying to associate Mom understanding how we know each other." And instead of saying, "Mom, we go to church together," he just said, "Mom, this is my preacher." And he didn't correct him because he just thought, well, maybe she has dementia and he's just trying to associate so Mom understands how I know this man. So my neighbor began to talk to the mother, and began to pray for her. And so he left the hospital and basically I guess you can say a friendship, a relationship began because he did good deeds and went to the hospital to pray for this lady and showed kindness and, showed what a good Christian should be like, being a servant, things like that. So he was talking to his son and he said, "See, these are good deeds. I went to the hospital. I spoke to this guy in a dress where I normally would have spoke to him, but I felt led to speak to him. And these are all good deeds. And this is not what gets me into heaven." Hang on. as I read that story this morning, oftentimes when I hear a story, I may not be able to relate exactly to the story, but I always go, how can I relate to that story? Because I learned that in therapy. So, like when you're listening to me talk, you may not be able to relate to my exact story, but if you stop and ask yourself, how can I relate to what Judy just said when everything's said and done? Or maybe in the middle of it, you're like, how can I relate to what Judy's talking about? So that's what I began to do is like, how do I relate to this story? And I learned it in therapy. Like when I was in outpatient therapy, we would share how our day was going. Like, let's just say I shared my day and I was Nathan and I shared what happened with the lady and the man in a dress. And then we would go around the room and we were like, tell me how you can relate to Judy's story. And we would say, I can relate to Judy's story because whatever. So I've learned to do that through therapy is go, how do I relate to this story? And this is a tool that I have in my pocket that I pull out and go, when I hear someone's story, I say to myself, how can I relate to that story? Even though I have my things I'm going through is nothing like that, but in a way it is. So I got finished reading that Facebook post and I said, how can I relate to this story? And I told you when I first saw the picture, because the first thing I saw was the picture and it was a man in a dress. And I cast judgment from the minute I saw that picture because I thought he's fixing to make fun of this guy in a dress. And I did the same thing. I mean, like I said, I started casting judgment that he's fixing to make fun of someone. And then when I first started reading the post about the guy in a dress and he felt led to talk to him, I casted a judgment going, he's fixing to tell that guy that's in church that he shouldn't be wearing a dress. Is that guy going to feel welcome in church? I mean, how if wearing a dress is wrong, how do you? Because this is what I was thinking. A lot of times, people play God, and people go, "I'm going to tell that dude he's wrong wearing a dress," as if you're God and you're fixing to convict him. And let's just say that he did say, you have no business wearing a dress. You're a boy, you're a man, you have no business wearing a dress in church. Do you think in your head that that guy is going to feel welcome in that church? And do you think that he's going to return the next Sunday? I say no. I would say that he's going to say, I would think that he would say, I'm not welcome here. I'll never come back here. I'm never bringing Becky back to this church because I'm being made fun of because I have on a dress. That's what I think. I don't know what you think. You may have a different opinion from me, but I think if someone tried to convict me of my wrongdoings, I would run like Forrest Gump. That's not a church I'd want to be in. If someone was going, hey, Judy, you shouldn't have on that tight dress. That is revealing looking. If someone said that to me, I would feel like, well, man, I can't even come to church without being like judged. That's how I would feel. But see, as I sat there and was reading that story, and I was like, how can I relate to this? I was thinking about me putting on makeup in the mornings. That's all I kept thinking about is someone scrolling through, I don't know, YouTube, and they see Sneed's Farmhouse Live and they see me putting on makeup. Did they cast a judgment right off the bat? They probably do. She's selling makeup. I don't want to watch her live. And I was thinking about it. And then when I started thinking about, do people judge me right off the bat? And the answer is yes, they do. I do the same thing. I judged my neighbor right off the bat about where the story was going. I'm no different from anybody else. We do that as individuals. And then I said, so why are you changing your ways for other people? I was digging deep and I was like, well, I stopped putting on my makeup in the morning because I thought I would draw in more people. Well, why do you want to draw in more people, Judy? I was breaking it down. Why do I want to draw in more people? And in my heart, I'm like, to share with them about mental health and share with them about how I got to where I am today. That's why I want to, attract more people to my lives. It's embarrassing. I mean, I think that says 42 people. I got a whopping 42 people on my live. And when you go watch other people's lives, they have like a bunch. And I literally have 42. Oh, so we're comparing yourself again, Judy. It's like, I guess. Why are you comparing yourself to other creators, Judy? I told you last week to compare yourself to me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you read this story and you said, how can you relate to this story? And the first thing you thought was putting on your makeup in the mornings, and you changed your ways to gain more people because in your heart, you want to attract more people to be able to click on your page for you to share mental health. But is that the real reason? Or is it for views? Are you looking are you looking for more views because you're wanting to make more money? Are you looking for views because you want to help other people? Try to sit and meditate on it a minute. It's like who am I? Who am I as a person? Why do I want more views? And when I sat here and thought about it, because I do have a big heart. I mean, my heart is in it for the right reasons. And I had to sit here and go, why am I changing my channel for more views? Why do I constantly beat myself up for more views? What is my purpose in my social media? What am I trying to gain? And I had to really sit and think about it. Because so, you know, so quickly, whether you're a content creator or not, let's just say you have a friend that's well off and you see she gets everything she wants. Or, and you're like, man, I live paycheck to paycheck wondering how to buy groceries. Like you're like kind of like that person. And you find yourself with, let's just say, a friend that has a big house and her husband has retired and they went and bought 50 acres and a big old house and mother, you find yourself when you surround yourself with people that are a success financially, you find yourself caught up in, I want to be like them. Do you do that? But at the end of the day, is it about you pass away, okay? Is God going to say, "Good job, Judy, you became a millionaire. Fantastic. Good job, Judy. You have a farm that you're teaching about discrimination. Good job, Judy. Good job, Judy. You quit putting on your makeup and you got 2,000 people joining you live in the mornings. Give me a high five, Judy." Is God going to say that to me when everything is said and done? Really, think about it. Is God gonna high five you, Brenda Atkins, and go, "Good job. You showed up to Judy's live every Monday and Wednesday at 7 a.m. Give me a high five. You worked on being the best version of yourself. Praise Jesus. Come on through the gates of heaven." Is God gonna say that? And if the answer is no, then why do we focus on it? Why do we focus on comparing ourselves to you know how they say keeping up with the Joneses? So why do you compare yourselves to the Joneses? Why do we constantly have to keep having this conversation with ourselves? That's what I keep asking myself. Like, why am I constantly having this conversation with myself day after day? Like, why is it not clicking in the brain? Like, what is missing in this brain of mine? Do I need an MRI to see what is not firing in this brain of mine that's making me constantly compare myself to other people and be a people pleaser? What is not firing right? Like, what am I not understanding? It's like, am I slow or what? Like, it takes me a minute to catch on. I'm not a quick learner when it comes to mental health. I don't catch on fast, basically. It's like day after day, the same old crap. It's like I'm a broken record. Like, it takes a long time. Not everyone gets over it as quick as everybody else. Like, some people can go, okay, you know, I need to do this. But see, what happens is when you surround yourself with, sorry, let me think what I'm trying to say. Sorry. At the end of the day, is it these other people, let's just say other content creators that are so successful, is it their fault that I'm comparing myself? No, it's my fault. They're not doing anything that's causing this. I mean, nothing. It's me. It's this brain. And then when I sit here and go, okay, I'm changing my ways. For what? What am I changing my ways for? Okay, to gain more followers. For what? So, like, what am I doing? That doesn't make sense, Judy. I confuse myself sometimes because is it about a number? I feel like God keeps humbling me. And I'm glad. I'm glad that I keep getting humbled. So this morning, when I was thinking about, I don't know why I read that story and went straight to like me putting on my makeup in the morning, but I thought, I'm interrupting my quiet time, which is my morning from usually 5 to 7 is my quiet time. I'm interrupting my quiet time to put more on myself to please other people. Like I needed to add something else to my plate. I mean, let's think about this for a minute. Do you do that? Do you find yourself putting more on your plate to please other people? And at the end of the day, why are we even doing that? Does that even make sense? So I'm going to interrupt my quiet time and get ready in the morning before I go live. Then I'm going to interrupt 10 minutes early because a couple of people said that I don't ever read the comments when I'm live. So what I'll do, okay, so I'll go get ready before I go live, and that'll attract more people. And then I'll get on at 10 till 7 so that I can talk to people. And then at 7 o'clock, I'll take off my glasses. Just see what I do to please other people instead of like going, well, what's best for you, Judy? Is it best for you to interrupt your quiet time to get ready and then go live 10 minutes early with your glasses on so you can respond to comments? Is this what's best for you? No, it's not. It's not. It's not what's best for me. And then, I don't know, one day this weekend, I keep thinking it's the weekend because Shane wasn't here. Today's Wednesday. I got a comment and it said, now that I'm not going to say verbatim because I can't remember, but basically because I'm not filming the group home anymore, she's not sure she's going to watch me anymore. I'm just like, what? What? Are you kidding me right now? Do you know what pain do you know what pain I'm in? Because I can't put the group home on social media anymore? You think it sucks for you? Be me. Be me. You don't want to follow me anymore because I am not putting the group home or the center on social media. Are you kidding me right now? How about picking up the phone, dialing my phone number, and calling me? And here I go, robot again. Okay, she's not pleased. Okay, well, what do I do? I can't help it. It wasn't my decision. It wasn't my decision to do that. It's like I'm a robot. Okay, I'll interrupt my morning quiet time so I can put on my makeup in the morning so I can attract more people, and I'll go live 10 minutes early with my glasses on so that I can talk to people. Oh no, I've made someone mad because I am not putting the group home anymore. Oh my gosh, I can't control that. Now I'm losing followers because I'm having to change everything and I don't know what to do. And I was going forward and now I'm fixing to go. It's like spinning out of control. Do y'all do that? It's not good. It's not healthy. That is not being the best version of yourself. I'm here to tell you. When you're asking yourself 550 questions within 2 seconds, that is not healthy. When you're changing your whole entire routine and life to please other people, to try to be a better channel, at the end of the day, it's just me, y'all. I'm one person. I'm one person. I remember watching this channel, and their goal was to feed their community. And when I listened to their testimony, I literally bawled my eyes out. It was absolutely amazing, the passion in wanting to feed their community. So, what they did was they raised animals and processed them to feed their community. And I was like, that is amazing. That is amazing. And then all of a sudden, I watched people criticize them. I can't believe you process pigs. I can't believe you process cows. I can't believe you process chickens. And their views would not go up on social media because they fed their community. And I watched them go from feeding their community to being a robot to what does the viewers want? What does the viewers want? The viewers that are on our page, let's just talk about my page. Let's say that I did that. Let's say that I was feeding my community and I processed animals, and all these people started coming for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making them mad. Okay, my views are so far down because I'm feeding my community pigs or cows or chickens or whatever, frog legs, I don't know, whatever. And all of a sudden, they change everything. They changed their mission. They changed their farm animals. They changed every single thing about them to please the viewers because their views were down because they were feeding their community. And they changed everything. And you know what happened? Their views went up. Am I that person? Am I that person that's wanting to change everything for everybody else instead of me being Aunt Judy, the weirdo that puts her makeup on in the morning, that's misunderstood so many times? Am I the guy in the dress? I am. I'm the guy in the dress going to church. And I realized that I can't change people. I If I could, oh, I would. And the first person I would change is the people in my house. I would have this voodoo doll and go, "Dude, this is what you're doing today." I would change them. I would change everybody around me, but I can't. Instead, I have to change myself to adapt to them because I can't change them because I'm not God. I can't convict them. I can't go, "Dude, you need to see what you're doing to me." I have to change myself because I can't fix them. But though I'm doing the same thing on social media, I'm going, "Oh, people don't like me putting on my makeup in the mornings. It's dumb. It's so dumb." And I think this is sorta where I miss it, not sorta. This is where I miss Diane because Diane, I would say, "It's dumb that I put on makeup. I'm gonna stop going live." Judy, Judy, it don't matter. You're helping me. I cannot get up in the morning and not have you. And I'm like, what in the world? Seriously? Yes, I need you, Judy. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this for Diane. Ain't nobody, I'm not doing it for anybody else but Diane. And I sit here and I'm like, now that she's gone, I sit here and go, okay, I don't have a Diane, but I do have Dianes. I have people all the time that go, I can't, I have to have you in the mornings. And y'all don't give two craps whether I'm putting on my makeup or not. Y'all just want to hear what God's laying on my heart. But I forget. But I'm the man in the dress at church. I am. People want to talk to me all the time. And they'll go, if you would quit putting on your makeup in the mornings, you would have more people. And I want to go, if you would get to know the man in the church with the dress, you would see it's a lot deeper than me putting on my makeup. So reading that story this morning humbled me because I had to say, how can I relate to this story? And the first thing I thought of is me and the makeup. I'm the man in the dress. And where Nathan thought that God was calling him to go talk to that guy to tell him not to wear a dress, God was calling Nathan to that man for a relationship with him. Did he ever think that he would have a relationship with the man that wore a dress to church? No, he thought, "Oh, I'm fixing to convict this dude. I'm fixing to play God. I'm fixing to convict him and tell him that he has no business wearing a dress to church." Just as people want to convict me. People convict me. People judge me when they're scrolling through YouTube and see me put on my makeup. They're like, "I don't want to watch this girl put on her makeup." Well, I will tell you, you can ask the people that follow me, are my talks not so much better when I put on my makeup versus just sitting here? Because I lose my concentration. I don't know. I'm ADHD and it helps me to do something. It's like I can get to the point better. I don't know how to explain it. But when I sit here and have nothing to do, it's like my brain can't think. It can't. It's it, but when I'm putting on my makeup, it's like my brain can be clear. I've been dreading my lives in the morning because I have to get here or I got to put on my makeup early. I got to go live 10 minutes early. I'm tired. I don't, Monday, Chris goes, "What's wrong with you?" "Nothing. I just don't feel good." "Judy, what's wrong with you?" "I don't have anything to talk about." I mean, even setting my lives, I'm like, I don't even have a subject to talk about. Like, nothing's happening. I'm just blah. I'm just blah. Like nothing is there. Like I don't know. So I just realized reading the story this morning, I realized that I am the man in the dress at church. And I can't promise you this comparing myself to others and comparing my like being a people pleaser. I cannot promise you that it's registered in my brain after reading that message and then sharing my testimony with you this morning. I can't promise you that it's going to process in my brain. I wish it would. But I find that I'm struggling with my purpose. I'm struggling with what is your purpose and wanting more views? I have to pay for my farm, is what I keep telling myself. I have to pay for this. The winter months are coming up. I don't have tours. I don't have field trips. My income is only social media. And it's scary. As a business owner, this time of year, I feel like I can't breathe. I feel scared. So views are important to me this time of year, definitely. I have to grow because at the end of the day, I do depend on social media for my income. It's not my purpose, or is it? That's what I'm confused about. I'm like, what is your purpose, Judy? Why do you keep going to numbers? Why don't you stay with your purpose of why you started it to begin with? But I'm not going to lie to you. YouTube was started for income. I was talked into it. It was for income because look, it's like you can have all this. You're going to do good on social media. They're going to love you. You can have everything that I have right here. And that's been so far from the truth. It was almost like, you know how get rich quick schemes like pyramids? You know what I'm talking about? Like I don't you know what I'm talking about, a pyramid. Like little pyramid companies, you can get rich quick. Like it was like that. All you have to do is do this. That's all you have to do. Just do this and watch what happens. But that's not how it works. That will set you up for failure. It doesn't work that way. Nothing can be given to you. You have to work hard. But I'm struggling bad about purpose over income, but also the fact that I do have a business that I do have to pay for. So it's like I'm struggling trying to figure out, but I have to pay for this, but I have a purpose. But I have to pay for this, but I have a purpose. Like, what the heck am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be talking about? What is the purpose of my YouTube channel? What? I don't know. And I bet you money, many of you are in my shoes going, what is your purpose? But I do have bills to pay. It's like, I know this one lady that follows me that feeds her community. She's the neighborhood cook. She makes sure her neighbors have food. She makes sure her neighbors are home by dark and that they're in the house safe. Okay? And she's like, I have a purpose, but I also have bills to pay. I want to feed these people, but I also have bills to pay. I want to I want to feed them for the holidays, but I also have bills to pay. It's like you're like this. It's like a teeter tot. It's like I want to give, but I also have to pay bills. It's like I want to adopt a family for the holidays, but I also have to pay bills. It's like it reminds me of that little, I don't know, when I was little there was this little bird that you put, seems like you put like water in it and he teeter tots back and forth and drinks the water or something. I don't know. It was an old toy back when I was a kid. But that's what I feel like right now, a seesaw. I wish I had it all figured out. I wish I could tell you, hey, this is the answer. All you have to do is do this and you're good. But I have no clue. So you know what? That's the good thing about working on yourself is you don't have to have it all figured out in a day, a week, a month, a year. You take step by step. And as God humbles you, it's like you take a little piece of it and you begin to learn. Judy, it's not about a number, it's about a purpose. But yeah, God, I got to pay for this. I have a farm. It's back and forth. You have a choice. I think sitting it out is not recognizing what's happening in this brain. Dancing is not figuring it all out in a day, a month, a year. I feel like it's almost like a diet. If you have the magic pill or the magic shot, oh yeah, you can lose weight, but are you going to keep it off? No. As soon as you come off that pill or that shot, you've learned nothing. It is a daily walk. It's the same thing with what I'm going through right now. I'm recognizing it and I'm walking daily. Recognizing is dancing. Dancing doesn't always mean a fast movement. Sometimes it's ballet. Sometimes it's a slow, gradual, graceful move. Ballet dancers have their hands like this. Sometimes it's a slow, graceful movement. But believe it or not, you're dancing. That slow, graceful, smooth transition is dancing. Recognizing it is dancing. Sitting it out is being closed-minded. Always, the tool that you're taking away today, everything, every story you read, ask yourself, how can I relate to this story? Because believe it or not, I read a story about a man in a dress. What does a man in a dress have anything to do with me? It actually did. I'm that man in the dress. When I read that story, it was me. It was me. People judge me. I feel in my heart, God's going to put the people in front of me that need to hear what I have to say. There's nothing great and wonderful I can do. I can look my very best. I could come in here in a business suit every day. Do you think that's going to change anything? God's going to put who needs to be here in this group in front of me. And you know what? At the end of the day, I always have enough for feed. In the almost 6 years I've had this farm, I've never gone 1 month without food for my animals. No animal on this farm has starved, including me, Shane, and Larry. We've never gone 1 month without paying bills, ever. Have you? Are you without food? You have a choice. You can sit it out or you can dance, and I hope you dance. I'll see y'all next week. My video about Jack will come out Thursday. I will tell you that Jack had to have surgery, and it's a push and go. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to take it day by day. But Jack needs our prayers. I'll see you guys Thursday at 2:45 with Jack's story. Bye.